Hey guys, decided to do kind of an off-the-cuff, beginner-friendly slash intermediate-friendly um, slash style lesson, but this is going to be kind of focused on just kind of more basic blues licks, blues phrases. I'm going to do several. I'm not sure how many I'm going to do. I've started just recording this and I had some in mind, and I'm just going to go through each one. I'll separate it. I'll do chapters for each one. I'm going to play each one a few times, slow it down. I'll describe, like the scale that's being used and some basic information like that, but not getting into too much detail, just kind of showing what's going on. But I think these are going to be, the idea is to give some tools, some kind of basic lick vocabulary for kind of the fundamental blues aspect of Slash's playing. So I'm not going to get into too much legato and stuff like that, because that starts becoming more, I guess, advanced or higher level, intermediate. Kind of focus on kind of the blues phrasing. But I think it's the kind of thing that will lend itself really well to playing in that slashy kind of style. So like always with this kind of style, there is a big emphasis, with the last video I did with the micro bends and kind of playing with the feel and the vibe and all that. So with that said, jump into the first lick. Oh, and I should say tuned flat for this. I'm gonna play these in B unless I state otherwise. So hopefully you guys, tune flat. I know that might be a pain for some people, but I'm sure you have a tuner and you can just do the EB tuning. So yeah, just tune to that, tune flat. Okay, first lick, thinking something like this. Okay, played that enough, I think. So just with a little bit of an explanation here. Again, I'm in kind of the B minor pentatonic scale, right? Right? This lick starts out on the G string, right? So doing some attitude. So, if you want to play it in the most basic way without using a lot of the kind of attitude kind of bends, you can just go. So again, the lick is just starting with a bend. So you're bending the third string. And it's just kind of like I guess it's a two-step bend. And you land on the fourth string with the ring finger. But I'm barring this thing called stacking, right? I'm barring the third and the fourth string with my ring finger, right? Right there, an alternate picking. So that's kind of the first little chunk, if you can get that under your belt. I'll just kind of play that on loop, right? So it's a good fundamental lick that you'll use in other contexts as well, right? And that's the thing with all this, is that you don't want to look at these like you have to play these exactly the same way. I make up these licks and just show them because it's easy to repeat them, but you'll then want to take them and then just kind of tweak them, right? Play them in different positions, different strings, and then just kind of add your own style to it. But again, that's the first part. Hopefully you got that idea. Then I just go. That part could be a little tricky. There's some hammer-ons there, right? I'm not picking all those notes. And you're resolving on the fourth string on the root note, right? You see how I'm hanging on some of those notes to get that vibe, right? So you can do it in different octaves, right? That's the idea of playing it in different positions. So again, one more time. All that is pull off on this 4th string, then the 5th string, and then returning to the root note. So. So that's it for lick 1. Lick 2, I think even a little bit more basic, but fundamental nonetheless, right? So it's like this. So again, still in the same position, B minor pentatonic, doing a bend on the G string again, right? And this Chuck Berry kind of thing, right? Just kind of walking up with the index finger, just on the 2nd and 1st string, right? So it's just this. So, and I'm doing, you can see my picking pattern. I'm not going down the whole time. And then I'm picking up on the last note. You can kind of do whatever you like, I guess. I don't really think too much about the picking hand. It kind of comes naturally unless I'm learning something really new and complicated. But that's how I'm doing it. It's like down, down, up. So hopefully we can get that down. And that's just a basic kind of blues phrase. I know I've shown it before, but it's very useful. And then I'm doing the bend on the 2nd string, right? And just that's by. And just try and work on your vibrato, right? Just. And again, all that raking stuff comes into effect. You can, But if you're just a beginner and you don't want to worry about all those nuances, you can just go. So again. So that's it for lick 2. Lick number 3, kind of a take on the 2nd lick, right? Just. Oops. Okay, so that, again, same as lick number 2, kind of the Chuck Berry thing, right, on the 3rd string. Instead of doing this, like we did in the 2nd lick, we're going to grab 1 fret down here and do this. And that's a half step bend, right? We're bending to this note. Then I just go. Again, I've done that in other lessons. It's very slashy sounding, and I just think it sounds really bluesy, so I just figured I'd show it here. So again, just. Then you go. It's just. I'm grabbing the 3rd string with the index finger, right? And again, you work on your vibrato like always. But at the most basic level, you know, if you're not down with doing the rakes and the micro bends and all that stuff, if you're not quite there yet, if you're just focusing on the fundamentals, the basics, the beginner aspect of it, it's just okay. So that's lick 3, right? Okay, on to the next one. So for lick 4, I was thinking this. So I think it changes a little bit there as I was doing it. It's a lick that I've done plenty of times, do it all the time. Obviously, to do it with the vibe, you know, you got slides and all that kind of stuff, but just all the main emphasis here, again in B minor pentatonic, is to do the double stops, right? So I'm going. So I'm sliding in on the 4th string, right? Which is a cool vibe, right? And you can just work on that. I know I'm varying it there, adding a little variation, but I think it shows you that you can kind of just do different things and kind of where this can take you, right? But again, the idea I had originally was this. However you want to do it, the main thing is I'm doing the double stop with the index right here on the 2nd and 3rd. Then the up here using your ring finger, same thing. So the double stops, obviously very key to getting a good bluesy and slashy type vibe, right? But again, ending on the root note just for consistency there. I realize I'm making it more complicated there, so just I can't remember how to do it the easy way. Something like that, right? So hopefully that just gives you an idea of different variations you can do using the double stops. So on to the next one. Okay, guys, I'm kind of coming up with these on the spot here, or like a second before I unpause it. So what I was thinking here, this is a little bit more of a phrase, and it's going to go from box 2 to box 1. It's very bluesy, probably a little bit more, not as much slashy, but a little bit more almost Stevie Ray Vaughan sounding. So again, here we go. Maybe that's better. So again, the idea is just trying to show a good transition lick, something kind of bluesy. If you know box 1, obviously, right? Box 2 is here. Right? So again, that's box 2. So I started out with this kind of. Again, that's kind of, if you listen to any kind of like old blues, whether it be Stevie Ray Vaughan, the various kings, right? Albert King and all those guys, it's a lot of this. Again, that's kind of where that kind of comes from, right? But all I did was I feel like now I've changed it since I originally did it. But the idea is the same, right? Is I'm on this second box, right, on the first string, and the main root note ideas are this, right? So maybe just go. Maybe just work on that. So it's good for working on your bends, right? So after I do that, I jump down to box 2, and on the second string, I'm just going to do a big bend and really emphasize kind of the vibrato, right? So, nope, that was kind of wonky vibrato there. So you can just do that, right? Again, these are all just little ideas that you can take and then just kind of do your own thing with it. Just connecting different spots, connecting different boxes, I should say, and emphasizing different bends, right? So after that, I just kind of did kind of a stock kind of pentatonic box 1 kind of follow through, right? So. Or just whatever you like there. You can show. So again, that's just. So again, hopefully that helps. Maybe I'll stop there with that one. Maybe we can squeeze one more in. Okay, for the next lick, maybe not so easy, but we'll see. It's this kind of thing. I'm playing sloppy. Here we go. Okay, let me try that again. Varied it there at the end. Yeah, I got kind of hung up there on that first part. So just a little brain fart here while I'm trying to record myself. So this is cool, kind of a G sharpy kind of vibe here. There's actually a lesson where he kind of does that. Yeah, but it's a very classic kind of blues opening kind of lick. You hear Clapton and guys like that do it. It's just incorporating some major notes there, so it kind of takes that kind of flavor. So you start out with the 4th string. And you go. I've done this in other lessons too. And just a little quick hammer on there. That's the run up there. And those are kind of major notes there, right? as opposed to the minor pentatonic, right? We're going. So we go. That's the first part. Get the picking hand too, because I was getting tripped up earlier. That makes sense. That's the lead up, then you do a bend on this. That's the first part. That part's fairly easy, I suppose. Despite my struggles when I first started playing it at the beginning. Here we go. And then I kind of did a quick little legato hammer-on kind of thing that sounds slashy, right? It just goes. This part. That part sounds cool. I know when I was first starting to kind of chase that slash sound and learning how to target the kind of the flat fifth and this kind of. To me, that sounds very slashy, right? You can kind of take off from there, right, and start doing more legato. But I was trying to keep it kind of brief and more, a little bit more basic for this part. Again, I'm ending with a kind of the stock kind of thing that I did with the other licks, just that kind of position one, kind of third, fourth string ending on the root note kind of thing, right? So. Again, I'm barring the second and third string with my ring finger. Right? See what I'm doing there? Yep. Try to get loose and play it a little better. That's pretty decent, but hopefully you see the fundamentals. I know we got the first part. This part a little tricky. So that's on the second string. Then you grab the third string and the flat fifth. Right? That's it. I know when you first hear people play this kind of fast, it can kind of whiz by and you're like, you don't know what's going on, but it's not that complicated. I'm just jumping to the third string. I mean, you could keep doing more legato, right? that kind of thing, right? But again, just to kind of simplify it. So maybe that's a good place to stop. I hope some of this helps, guys. I know it's kind of long, but hopefully there's some individual licks, help you tie things together, and just give you some different kind of bluesy vocabulary that you can start linking together, making up cool phrases, tweaking them as you want. Slowly you can start adding in more like legato and stuff like that, and just, but yeah, I think it's good basic blues kind of licks there. So hope that helps, guys. Thanks.